Good evening. Yes, this is Spirit Journey. Today's Thursday, May 11th, 2017, and I just want to get this last note before I go to sleep. My mind was just thinking about something. I'm sure many of you have heard of the god of, you know, the moon god, the sun god, or the moon goddess, things like that. Did it ever cause confusion in you when you heard that? I mean, initially it's like, okay, but then it starts to confuse me. And I think part of that confusion is if God isn't He the God of everything? Why would He just be or she be the God of, and it's something about this planet? What, and you're not living on those places, you're living here. So I would think they would say the God of the earth or the God of the universe, something like that. But you hear of specific places or planets or stars. And I think this might explain some of it, where this confusion is. Well, this God, like, I thought God was like this omnipotent, this force. And so if he's this great force, so why just one domain, one place? But it makes sense now. Now, many of you have heard of the Anunnaki or things like that, that this civilization, this current one, is one of many civilizations. And you have beings, people who are more advanced in technology, but they live and die like everybody. They might live longer. Well, anyway, when I think of now this this question about the moon god or the sun god, what they mean, the god of, you know, so I think this is what it is. Well, based on like his name is Ike, David Ike, and you have other researchers, and they made mention that the moon is an artificial construct, that it's hollow inside, and you have other um, countries and tribes in this world that have mythologies about these, these gods, these planets, and that it's something that like the moon wasn't always where it is, and that it's something that's hollow, and more than one people have said something like this. So then I start, and then they made something about the sun also, that there was like a portal, this dark spot on the sun, and they saw what looked like craft, spacecraft going in and out of this. So I don't think the sun is what it appears to be. And as I mentioned in a few videos ago, that I think that the sun and the rest of the stars that we see out there are portals, are not just a block of a big rock that's in flame. That's what I thought what the sun was. Just a big rock that's on fire. Well, I think we're all being so deceived and lied to. Well, I am starting to think that what it means that we have a sun god is that this God, the word God is not the word that I thought it meant, this force, this being. The word God or Elohim, these are titles. And it's the title whereby they have this claim, this domain, this control, and that the sun and the moon are maybe some type of craft, something that people live in, a collective of people, not just one being called God, and that God is a title and a ruler who rules inside this planet or sun or moon. And so when they say the sun god, it's like with Star Trek, Captain James Kirk. So same here. It is a commander in chief of that headquarters that we call the sun, and the sun and the solar system, because you have a series of other planets or moons, whatever what you want to call it, that's in its control. So the sun god is the captain of this particular domain along with the other planets. And as for the moon, the same thing, that you have someone else that is in control of that. And I remember hearing about like it with the Sumerian literature, and that at one time, there was a conflict between the lady, of the Sumerian mythology, and that at one time they said that the sun was worshipped. And again, I mentioned in past videos that worship means to send your energy to it. So at one time, the sun was worshipped as female. And now it's no longer. Now it's worshipped as a male. And now that the moon is now worshipped as female, I am thinking that there was a hijack or a demotion of position, that once was the female was in charge of this solar system, booted out and put on the moon to control. That's what I'm thinking now. It makes more sense. And that, like I also heard, let me see, I'm reading my notes. You've seen like the pyramids in Egypt, and what they call the Sphinx, the what they say, a body of a man, the face of a man and the body of some type of animal. Well, I've looked at that on television programs, and the Sphinx is not male. That is a female, and it's one of the oldest structures or statues around. Now, I'm thinking that this Sphinx is connected with the sun. And if the sun originally was worshipped as female, and if the Sphinx is also something that was created during the time of that rule, then it would make sense that yes, the Sphinx is a female, it's the face of a female and not male. It might have been a hijack, and that there was a shift of control. So this makes a lot of sense, and it puts the dots together, because again, you have other mythologies and cultures that talk about these ancient histories and about male and female. Don't you notice now in this world there's always strife between male and female, and how the male in most societies controls and dominates over the female? It doesn't make sense. How could something like that occur? Because just in the natural, like the woman gives birth. She raises the children. She's the one that teaches the children how to even put on their clothes, how to groom themselves, the basics, the introduction. So how, with that type of influence over the very, very beginnings of your life and learning, how her position could be um, pressed down, oppressed. This is all over the world, in virtually every society. And I did hear, like in one society, like in India, that the woman in India used to be the supreme and ruled over men. And just look in school, in elementary school, it's the women that mature physically and mentally before the male. And then there's a switch that happened right at puberty, right when I got into high school, towards the middle of high school. And then everything switches and goes downhill for the woman, and then the men takes precedence and over time get into higher positions and more um, opportunities for college, and the woman is just lagging behind in general. Yes, of course, there are women who excel, but in general, what do you see? And what is your explanation how something of women being in dominance then become on the bottom socially? It doesn't make sense. And in another mythology, the land, it was some part of the Mediterranean in Greece, the island of Lesbos. That is a mythology, Greek mythology, about women who fought back men, and how now you have women of a particular orientation now embrace that term lesbian to give recognition to these women in this mythological group. So, history is more complicated than we ever imagined. That I'm thinking that the world before the first civilization was a world ruled by women, or that type, and that somehow the male was introduced to our world, that before we didn't need males per se. Maybe we were some type of hermaphrodite, were able to reproduce on our own. I mean, I know I'm throwing it out there, but something happened, and we have what we have now. So you put in the dots, you connect the dots, and what do you come with in analyzing all these pieces that don't make sense? It doesn't add up. So if there are beings in this sun or moon, how long will they be here for? When are they leaving? Nothing is permanent in life. So what's the next deal? How do you get in contact with these type of beings? I don't know. I guess that's where the meditation comes in. And somehow to find, maybe you can find the answers. So, let me know what you guys think. What you believe what happened. Just write your comments below. Share this video with friends, family members. Please subscribe to Spirit Journey and to give me the thumbs up. Each one, teach me also. Thank you. Bye-bye.